And good afternoon, Facebook Live. How are we all? Yes, I've changed my topper then. I think it's Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday. Yeah. So, talking bollocks part 6. Yeah, definitely part 6. So, I've had some more nice messages, which is really cool that me talking bollocks and just enjoying the talking bollocks. Some of you guys are really enjoying it. Oh, bless you. I don't really know. I'm kind of pleased and a little bit embarrassed by it as well, I think, maybe. But then my ego kicks in and goes, nah, you're loving it. So I hope you're doing okay. It's, still very weird for everybody. There's lots of conflicting things on Facebook, on Instagram, on the news. It's all a bit 1 minute downplayed and then the next minute not. So it's all a bit confusing of what to make of it all, coupled with we are all out of our ordinary routines, obviously. I know a few of you are having bad dreams, and I was as well, but honestly, a 10-minute meditation, any meditation on YouTube, or just staying away from the news and social media for a few hours before bed is probably a really good idea. I know that tonight I will be tapping into Korean Buddhist Centre's meditation talk thing at 7:30. It's probably, I think it's about an hour, and they do some talking about the Buddha and the lives of the Buddha, and then they do a meditation. This was really helpful, the meditation the other day. It was really, really helpful. And I don't know if any meditation any of you do. I know that quite a lot of you do that I know, but I do find that it helps just not necessarily settle your mind, because sometimes in meditation my head's been actually more busy than during the day, but I think it just processes and does things. But staying away from your phone, from iPads and computers and screens, and just sitting quietly is all helpful, actually. I really do. I, as I've said before, think a lot anyway, and last night I had a phone conversation with a friend, and they know who they are, and they've had a bit of a weird time yesterday, and I don't want to say what it was because it's their business, and we were just discussing sort of things, and I was just talking to them about this time last year, what was we talked about their stuff first, and then I was just saying what I was going to talk about today. And this time last year I am spending Mother's Day with my children, and I spent the last day with somebody that I early hours of the morning, I'd come home from this person's place, well, it's not their place, and had spent 3 days wrapping around in my head some stuff that had been going on for me. So I was in the middle of trauma therapy. I had split up with a previous ex a few months beforehand, and I started seeing this person that I had known for about 3.5 years. And I guess for me, when things come up again, i.e. when I think about what I was doing this time last year, I hadn't told anybody what I'd found out about this person, and I was spending a day just with the kids, and it was Mother's Day, and just chilling and just being, with the knowledge that I knew the shit was about to hit the fan, which was a really strange place to be in, because it was the Sunday, and on the Wednesday, so for like 4 or 5 sleeps, I sat on some stuff to just process it and get it through my head. And basically, the guy that I was seeing at the time, I thought I knew pretty well. And some of you all know this story because you were my Facebook friend last year, and others of you don't. And so I'm kind of doing a bit of synopsis to remind those that do and kind of cover the bases of those that don't. So I had known him, so I thought I knew him, and I've been seeing him for about 3 months up to this point. And he had said a lot of things to me about various things to do with his life. And at one point, 4 days before it all comes out, or I let it all come out, I find out that he has a different Facebook profile. It's an old one. And basically, long story short, this guy's mother's not dead. And he's has been married, and he has 2 children. And he said that he was single the whole time. I'd known him when I worked with him years ago, and he hadn't. He'd been living with someone from, I think, around March, April 2014 to December 2018, when he then moved into a mutual friend of ours place. And he, so he'd said all these things, and basically they were all lies. From what I found out, the girlfriend actually, weirdly, when it was all sort of kicking off, I've not seen her before and I've not seen her since, and she's quite striking. The girlfriend who basically said to his ex-wife that he was going out for a smoke, he left and he went and moved in with this girlfriend. She didn't know anything about the ex-wife, and she didn't know until after a year when she'd asked him to go and get a bank account because he hadn't been working. That she realised that he'd lied about his age. So she wondered what else he lied about. So she went through his stuff and found out that he'd been married, that he had 2 children, blah, blah, blah. So, and then I managed to get in contact with her because weirdly I was on a bus journey 2 days after finding out from this guy all of this stuff. And this was during Wonk Week in Camden. So what was the end of what was supposed to be a great week was my head was all over the place in complete turmoil about what was going on in my life. And we were on the same bus journey, and I asked him questions about her, and he said he didn't know her, even though I could see that he knew her. And I think it was 3 days later when I contacted the ex-wife on Facebook that I found out that actually she had been the counter-signatory. When I looked up her name on Facebook, she was on there. And then when I contacted her, this is all stuff I found out, some of it some weeks later, she hadn't known about the ex-wife, didn't know that his mother was still alive, and didn't know that he had a sister. He wasn't an only sibling. So anyway, enough about him, because this isn't actually about him, this is about me. So the basis of it was this person that I thought I knew, and I sort of skipped some levels of trust because I thought they were already there. Turned out to be a sociopath and pathological liar. I haven't seen him for a year. I don't really care if I ever see him again. I do feel sorry for him, but I feel sorry because when somebody has to create their life like that, that means that they don't have a life, that their life is a pretense and it's not real. And he did say to me, and the one thing I did actually think that he said the truth about was, he said that he didn't feel things the way that other people do. And I should have probably listened, but I didn't know exactly what that meant when I first started going out with him. And I'm also not going to victim blame shame myself, because I really think that's a bad thing to do. So what I learned from being with him was there were red flags, and in any relationships there's red flags and green flags. Red flags are things that are not great, not good, or awful, or terrible. And green flags are the things that we want and need, and often are the nice things, like, does this person think, oh, that person likes crunchies, I like crunchies, and just buys one because you're having a down day or something. So it's not big, or it's just thoughts, and it's kindness, and it's niceness. So there was a couple of red flags, but nothing I thought, oh yeah, this is too much. I just put them on the shelf and thought I'd look at them later. And one of them was that one day he was making me eggs at his, and he started being really aggressive about the fact that I wanted to put pepper on my eggs. Now, at the time, and I don't know if I would still do this now, but when men would shout, even if I didn't know them or they were near me, I would freeze, because it scared me at the time. It's a scary thing. But at the time, I didn't know how to react. And I just like, okay, that's... And another time was he was supposed to come back at a certain time, and he didn't contact me for hours and hours and hours. And I think both of those things were actually testing how much he can get away with and how much he could push my boundaries. So what I learnt was that my intuition was good. It was where it was supposed to be. I was paying attention to red flags, and I was paying attention to the green flags and how I felt about things. And this is oh so important. If you get a funny feeling about somebody, don't push it aside. Don't kind of not pay attention to it. Because it's really important. It's your body trying to. I feel it in my tummy when I feel things like that, and it's your body trying to tell you something. And so going forward from that, there are a few things that I learned. That my green flags and my red flags, they work, and my shelving system works. They were things to look at. I learned that we can take people at face value by what they say, but actions must match words, and also actions speak louder than words. So when I was with him, there was a certain time of my life, and actually looking back now and in hindsight, even though, you know, I finished it, we weren't together, as most of you know, I outed him on Facebook as well, because I wasn't going to be his secret keeper. That's not my job, that's not my life. That there are some people that are sociopaths, that are pathological liars, that are narcissists, and they are attracted to people that burn brightly. And I know it's kind of blowing my own trumpet, but I know that I burn brightly, and I know I'm a big personality. I've got loads of love to give, and I will continue to give out that love, but I will do so in a way that makes sure that I stay safe. So in the past, I might have stayed and tried to change him and kind of flog this dead horse of a relationship, but I was just like, no, we're done. There's a couple of weeks of toing and froing, but that's because, you know, I had thoughts, 1 minute everything had been fine, and the next minute everything had just gone completely arse over end, like shockingly so. I remember telling them a story and they're like, no, this doesn't sound real, and I was like, hang on a minute, and they were like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. I was like, hang on a minute, let me finish the story. And when I finished the story, like, they were literally like, this is take a break stuff. I was like, tell me about it, this is so surreal. So going forward, red flags, green flags, actions built louder than words. And also something that I sort of thought of since, when somebody shows you, when they truly show you who they are as a person, and that's somebody that's not going to bring you any love or happiness or kindness or bring anything wonderful to your life, then believe them. Believe them that first time that that's who they are as a person. Because if they've shown you, you know, we all make mistakes, we all have bad days, you know, I'm known for getting a bit shouty, I get a bit stressy, I get a bit controlling actually, and feel like I have to get involved with things. Normally that means that I shouldn't get involved in things and I should actually take a step back and chill a bit. But when somebody shows you who they are, believe them and deal with them accordingly. And the way that I dealt with him was I took him out of my life, because he doesn't deserve all of this. I hope you all have a lovely day and that you're doing okay. And, you know, we're going to get through this, guys. This is weird and fucked up and strange. But I'll still be here talking bollocks every day. Okay. Speak soon, guys. Bye.